Hey everyone, welcome back with another session of geography. I hope you all are doing well. So today we'll continue the same chapter, that is industries. Now children, previously we have already discussed about the classification of industries on the basis of raw materials and size. Today we'll start the proceedings, the classification of industries on the basis of ownership. Now on the basis of ownership, the industries are classified into private sector, public sector, joint sector, cooperative sector and multinational corporations. Alright, so these are the different types of industries, the basis of ownership. Now let's see them one by one. First we have, that is the private sector industries. Now we all know that private sector industries, these are owned and operated by individuals or by a group of individuals. Now the private sector, it's the part of the economy, alright, sometimes referred to as the citizen sector also. Now this is owned by private groups, usually as a means of enterprise for profit rather than being owned by the state. So basically these are owned and operated by individuals or by a group of individuals, and its main motto is to gain profit. Alright, now if we see for examples, Tata Iron and Steel Company, Reliance Industries, Hindustan Motors, everything. Like in West Bengal, if we see like Sri Cement, Exide, Berger Paints, Imami, all these companies, these are comes under private sector. Whatever you see, different kinds of banks, Allahabad Bank, United Bank, all these, Orient, Eveready, so all these companies, these all comes under the private sector. Okay, next we have, that is the public sector industry. Now in the public sector, industries are owned and operated by the central, alright, or state government. Central or state government. Now the public sector, they might provide services that a non-payer cannot be excluded from services which benefit all of society rather than just the individual who uses the service. This is the most like positive thing of the public sector. Alright. Now if we see for examples of the public sectors like Steel Authority of India Limited, Oil and Natural Gas Corporation, NTPC Limited, that's the National Thermal Power Corporation Limited, like for the production of electricity. All these comes under the public sector industries. Now if you see along with this, the Air India, Bengal Chemicals, Food Corporation, Indian Oil, Railway, everything comes under the public sector industries. That is owned and operated by the central or the state government. Alright. Now next we have, that is the joint sector industries. Now before going to joint sector industries, just a normal difference between the private sector and the public sector. Difference between private and public sector, if you see, now under the private sector it's unlimited jobs. Yes, there are unlimited jobs under the private sector, but if you see in the public sector, the jobs are limited. Now next is unsecure the jobs. Yes, security is a bit less. Now in the private sector, if you do mistakes in your jobs, like you can be terminated, but in the public sector, at least you will get the scope to like check your mistakes and correct it actually. So that's why in the public sector jobs, the government jobs are much more secure. Now unlimited works per day in the private sector. Now in private sector, there are no limitation of like hours for your work. So if the timing is like from 10 to 5, now if required you may need to stay after the legitimate timings, but in the government sector there are like limited times. If there are like timings from 10 to 4, like you need to just work on the basis of that. That's it. Now along with that, another thing that's there, that is the unlimited age of service. Yes, this is the only thing that the private sector is like better than the government sector. That is, there are no bars. Like even after your retirement, even after the age of 60, if you are okay to work, so you can get opportunity to work in some private sectors, private companies. But if you see in the government sector, like there are like age bars, like up to 60 or 62, you have the tenure for your job, and after that you need to take retirement. Alright, and Another thing is like only for earning profit. Yes, private sector basically they focus on earning profit. And if you see public sector, they not only focus in just earning profit out of everything, they focus for the social welfare also. And lastly, no bear of mistake, that I already said, that no bear of mistake, that you can be fired if you do mistakes, and if it's like unbearable for the company, then you can be you can get terminated, you can be fired then and there. But if you see in the public sector, government sector, at least you will get the opportunity to correct your mistakes. Alright, you can recover from that, and no such thing happens till now. Nothing is mentioned till now regarding this. So these are the benefits of differences between public sector and the private sector. Alright. So next we have, that is the joint sector industries. Now, as we have discussed about the private sector and public sector, so the joint sector. Now in the joint sector, if you see, industries are owned and operated jointly by the government and the private sector. That means what? Shares are divided. Now suppose 50% share is of the government and 50% is of some private company or somebody else, a group of person or a single person it can be. Okay, so these are owned and operated jointly, half by the government, half by the private sector. Now under this, if you see for examples, Maruti Udyog Limited, Malabar Building Products, Gujarat State Fertilizers, Cochin Refineries, and if you see in West Bengal, Bengal Ambuja Housing Limited, Bengal Peerless Housing Limited. So all these comes under the joint sector industries. Alright. Now next we have, that is the cooperative sector industries. Now you see children, cooperative sector industries are owned and operated by the group of producers or suppliers of raw materials. Now the production of the particular thing will be done in some other place. The factory will be run by a group of person, but the suppliers of the raw materials can be different. Suppliers of the raw materials will be different, and it will come from other place. Now if you see for example the Amul, we all know Amul, the taste of India. You have seen this butter, ghee, everything we have Amul. So this Amul, it's in the factories in Gujarat. Alright, it's run by the Gujarat Cooperative Milk Marketing Federation. Alright, joint, owned by 36 lakh milk producers in Gujarat. So all the milk producers, they are tied up with this Amul, that is in Anand in Gujarat. Alright, and it's run by the Gujarat Cooperative Milk Marketing Federation. 36 lakh milk producers are tied up with this company. Now along with that, we have the sugar industry in Maharashtra. Okay, now Adarsh Cooperative Bank we have, coin industry in Kerala we have, cooperative banks. All these comes under the cooperative sector industries. Now lastly we have, that is the multinational corporations. Now these multinational corporations, these are different industries that are set up in collaborations with the foreign investors. Alright, foreign investors. That means capital will be given by some foreign people. Okay, now investors will be from outside. So such industries are owned and operated by members of 2 or more countries. Members of 2 or more countries. It's not that the heads will be only from one country. It's not that. It can be tied up with other countries' head also. Now the two main characteristics of MNCs are that their large size. This is the first one, and also the fact that their worldwide activities are centrally controlled by the parent companies. Their worldwide activities, maybe their parent company is in Germany. So and their other their other branches are there in different countries like India, Pakistan, and some other countries. So everything will be monitored and controlled by the parent company that is in Germany, like that. Okay. Now if you see for examples, Maruti Suzuki India Limited, Coca-Cola, Accenture, Adidas, Aditya Birla Group, Alibaba, Amazon, Apple, Baskin Robbins. There are lots of examples of these multinational corporations. Okay, in short we call them as the MNCs. India produces and sells goods and services in various countries. Alright, this is their main goal. So these are all the industries on the basis of ownership. So that's all we have in this session. Till the next time, bye bye.